Welcome everyone to another Singerreise video podcast. My name is Sarah Silvia and I'm your host. Thanks for joining us. In the last episode, I've been talking a lot about what Singerreise has been doing over the last year and what is coming up over the next few weeks. So if you haven't seen them yet, make sure to check them out. Those are episodes 52 and 53. But today, we're going to go back to Winterreise. For this episode, we'll talk about number 18 in the cycle. And number 18 is the 3/4 mark on our journey through Winterreise. After today, there will only be 6 more songs until we finish. You could also say that number 18 is the halfway point for the second set of songs. You may remember that Winterreise was composed in 2 different volumes. Each volume had 12 songs in it. And if you don't remember, that's okay too. The overview episode was over a year ago. The first sequence of 12 songs starts off with the wanderer's exit from his beloved's house. He then goes out into the world and explores a bit, and always finds some analogy between the environment he finds himself in and the burning hot pain that he feels inside. The second volume, kind of obviously, starts with number 13, Die Post. It's an upbeat song, but the wanderer chastises his heart for having hope. After that point, 14, 15, 16, and 17 have been outright downers. So lately, the wanderer has been in a downward spiral of hopelessness. He feels more and more distant from, quote, normal people. And the fire and ardor that he felt in the first 12 songs is now giving way to a coldness and a resignation. And that brings us to number 18, which Schubert gave the title Der stürmische Morgen. The name simply means the stormy morning. All of a sudden, we're thrust from this melancholy into a fast, stormy, impassioned song. There's essentially no transition here. Things had been sleepy and gloomy, and now it's like we're back in the first section again. This song feels out of place, so much so that I tried digging a little deeper. I wanted to find out if there was some discrepancy between the original sequence of poems by Müller and the sequence that Schubert wound up putting together when he composed Winterreise. While I did find that there are some discrepancies between the 2 different versions, none of them seem to apply to this particular song. Whether it was Müller's sequence or Schubert's, this song was always in the exact same place. So I had to look elsewhere to explain why this song just seems to pop up out of nowhere. And I came up with 2 different theories. First, it's simply a nice change of pace for the listener. We've had a few of those slow and gloomy songs in a row, and there's more slow and gloomy yet to come. Too much of that all at once, and the audience would lose interest. Second, though, there are some connections in the text to be found. Most obviously, in the previous piece, Im Dorfe, all of the townspeople were left asleep. Then when we get to this piece, it's morning again. It's not a peaceful morning. A passing storm left some dark clouds in the sky, torn to shreds by some residual wind. Then a wintry dawn arises, mixing some red with the gray. For the wanderer, the violence of the morning is satisfying. Personally, I think that the wanderer is cranky because the hounds in Im Dorfe wouldn't let him sleep. The image of this morning sky feels familiar to the wanderer. This is the part where I think that the text falls a little more in line with the second half of the Winterreise cycle. In the first half of Winterreise, whenever the heart came up, the wanderer would feel heat and passion. Here, though, when the wanderer looks into the sky, he sees the fire of the dawn, but instead it feels cold. Wild, but cold. There's a lot of action and drama, but it's just an empty gesture. As for the music, this piece is simply fun. The piano introduction has a silent movie train robber motive to it, which I find personally hilarious. The rest of the introduction, and most of the piece for that matter, is all in unison octaves. Singer and both hands of the piano part are on the same melody. The octave doubling seems to occur most when referring to the gray remaining in the sky. There are some notable interruptions though. For example, when the fire of dawn occurs, the melody and the accompaniment fill out a little bit. I might call this a quasi-friendly, albeit violent moment. The other notable exception is under the text "Es ist nichts als der Winter," meaning it is nothing but the winter. It is also very tricky to say in fast German. Here, in the accompaniment, there is a flurry of a diminished chord, and then a flurry of a 5/7 chord when the text repeats itself. All I can make of this moment is that this is the brief second where the wanderer sees the cold nothingness behind the storm and the fire. It also provides a climatic musical dominant, so that we can have a fully conclusive 5/1 cadence. The song ends with a bang, and before we have a chance to fully understand what just happened, the song's over. The whole song takes place in only 45 seconds, and yet somehow I've managed to talk about it for several minutes. It's one of my special talents. If you want to find out more about the life of a working opera singer, or about Winterreise, check out our website singerreise.com. There you'll find several helpful articles and resources. You can also follow us at facebook.com/Singerreise. Make sure to like that page and like and comment on any of the posts in there. You can also go to twitter.com/Singerreise and make sure to follow the @Singerreise user handle there. And presently, you're watching the Singerreise YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to that before you go. That way you get updates every time a new video is released. Finally, there is patreon.com/Singerreise. And if you have enjoyed this video and the content, there's a lot more available to you as patrons of Singerreise. Being a patron only requires $1 or a few dollars every single month, and you have access to bonus videos, bonus content, votes, and all sorts of wonderful things. So I hope you'll go and check that out. I hope that you've enjoyed this presentation of Der stürmische Morgen, and thanks for watching.
Wie hat der Sturm zerrissen des Himmels graues Kleid, die Wolkenfelsen flattern, umher im Atemstreit, umher im Atemstreit. Und rote Feuerflammen ziehen zwischen ihnen hin, das nennt sich einen Morgen, so recht nach meinem Sinn. Mein Herz, sie kann dahin, gebaut sein eigenes Bild. Es ist es aus der Winter, es ist es aus der Winter, der Winter kalt und wild.